This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so we are here to discuss about customized sorting using comparator. The comparator is an interface available in which package? In java.util package, whereas comparable interface is given in java.lang package. Okay, both are in different packages. Comparable is for default sorting. So if your Pojo class or model bean is implementing comparable interface, then it is compulsory to override compare to method, and you have to provide the logic of comparison over there in the compare to method, right? This is how we can override. So this is comparing based on the salary. But now I wanted to compare it by name also without disturbing this default sorting. So in such case, we can go with the comparator. So you can write your own comparator. So in this case, I wanted to sort my employees based on the name. So I'm writing the name comparator here, implements comparator of string. Why string? Because so I'm going with the comparison of string. So which is what employee name, which is a string. So in case of this, you will have to override one method, that is what compare method. So I'm going to compare these two methods. I'm going to compare these two methods, which is going to return integer again. So as this is a string type, so directly I can make use of string string comparison methods. So obviously o1 dot compare to of photo. That's it. Object one here what string object. So we can just rename it if you want str s1 or s2, string s1, string s2. Okay, so on top of string we have a method compare to method. You can just call that. Okay, so yeah, why the error? Okay, so is it taking only one parameter or two parameters? So just go to comparator interface. Okay, and here you just look for the method compare method. This we need to implement. So it is taking how many parameters? It is taking two parameters, right? So of course, then why the error? So comparable interface method is compare to method that takes only one parameter, but comparator is going to take two parameters. Okay, it is going to take two parameters. So let me try that again. So here you can see, so this is a comparator, and we need to override another compare method where you have two strings s1 and s2. But why is giving error if I change this? Should not. Okay, so s1 dot compare to of s2. I'm just calling or making reusing of string compare to method, okay, to perform the comparison. So this is going to have the same logic because it's a string class, because it is a string class, right? So compare to method. So this is what my name comparator. That's it. Simple. If you don't have this availability, like use of existing methods, then you will have to write the logic on your own, something like what we have written here. Okay, returning 1, returning -1, returning 0. If both are same, then we are going to return 0. The first one comes first, and so I mean the bigger one comes first and the lower one comes later, then you are going to return a positive value. In the other case, you are going to return negative value, so that it will swap and it will rearrange. That's all you'll have to do it. So this is what my name comparator. This is what my name comparator. So now if you wanted to sort your employees using this comparator, okay, then you can create our set of this. Okay, uh, employee set is equal to new tree set. We're going to create a new tree set. But here, instead of using this default constructor with no arguments, I'm going to use tree set of comparator. Can you see here? It has multiple constructor, tree set with no parameters, tree set with collection, tree set with comparator, tree set with another sorted set. Okay, we have these things, so I'm going to use the comparator object here. What is the comparator I have? I have comparator, new comparator, that I'm going to pass it over here. So based on that, it is going to arrange my employees. Okay, so set of what I have here is employee model. Come on. Okay, so why the error is tree set of dot name comparator dot employee model is undefined. Is that set is defined? How my set here I have defined employee model only, right? Why it start giving error? Oh my god, so where I'm writing the code. Okay, so this is one class. Okay, this is another class. Okay, this is another class, and oh my bad, that is what I'll check. Okay, so see here, this is one class where it is started, and this employee model class, and this is comparator class, and the above I have main class. So this is what main class with main method. Okay, inside main method I'll have to make use of it. So here I should write it. Okay, all right. So what is the error now? Is set of employee model, but I wanted to sort it my employee model using says implementing comparator, right? Yes, comparator of string I'm taking. This should be again employee model. So here the logic would be what? Employee one dot get employee name dot compare to of employee two dot get employee dot and that's it. Okay, so this is generic types, so we need to be careful. So because here you are preparing the comparator on top of employee model. So while passing your comparator to your tree set, and there we specify the type, and this type and your comparator type should be same. Okay, so otherwise you will be running out with the compilation issues. So now I have employee set here, and I wanted to use the employee set this comparator. Now employee set, where are the employee details? So I can add employee set dot add. I can keep adding the employees. Okay, or already I have employee set of employees above. Can I reuse this employee set? So where I have already added these employees, of course I can use it, right? Because we have a method I have a method employee set dot add all, where you can add another collection object. So here I am adding this employee set. I am adding this employee set. So this employee set will be having the employees list of employees, whatever I have in employee set above. Okay. But now, if you look at this employee set here, the employee set is ordered based on the salary. But here, the employee set is going to order based on name. So if you iterate through this employee set, okay, sorry, it's employees in the employee set. Okay, I wanted to print the name. Okay, I wanted to print the name. Employee model object dot get ename. Okay, so see that now. So here it is going to sort based on what? Salary. So here this is going to sorted based on name. Okay, so run it and see. Run this. So here you can see this is based on the salary 10,000, 11,000, 15, 20, 21, 30. And here if you look at here Aditya, Bala, Hari, Shankar, Srini, this is based on what? Name. So sorted based on the name and sorted based on the salary. So okay, later I got another requirement. Okay, I need to sort based on employee IDs. I want to sort my employees based on IDs. Then what do you have to do? So you should not disturb any of the existing sorting techniques. So you can write one more thing. So employee ID comparator. Employee ID comparator comparator implements comparator of employee model. So where I'm going to override the method. I'm adding the method here. So this is so O1 and O2 two objects. Okay, employee 1 and employee 2. The same is so here employee 1 dot get ID, right? So what is this ID return type? It is integer primitive, right? On top of it, you can't access anything because it's a primitive. Because it's a primitive. Because it's a come on dot. So I don't see anything. But if I want to convert this into integer, okay, new integer object, integer of this. Now it becomes integer class. Okay, so in the integer class, okay, so this integer class is implementing what? Is implementing comparable. Is implementing what? Number. It is integer extends in number and implements what? Comparable. As it is implementing the comparable, so it must be implemented the compare to method, right? So you can use this method directly instead of writing your own logic. But if you want to write your logic, yes, you can write this over there. You can write this directly over there. Okay, so it's up to you. Okay, but I recommend you to use the existing logic. If you have something available in exist, use that. Why do you want to write your own? So that is tested and 100% accurate thing. So always better to go by existing things if you have such things available. So employee 2 dot get ID. This is going to sort the employees based on what? Based on ID. This is what ID comparator. Okay, now if you have a data set, okay, so if you have a data set and the data set, you can use that new comparator to sort your employees based on the ID. So here what I give is ID comparator. Okay, so this is what my ID comparator, employee ID set basically. So here I'm going to add my employees to this employee ID set. Okay, so this is going to sort based on the ID. It must be sorted already based on the ID. If I print ID, I should see my ID in a particular order, 1 to 3 order. I should see the employees here in the 1 to 3 order. Okay, so here let me print now other things also. Here salary, comma, name, okay, name and ID. ID is equal to, okay, so I'm printing this logic. Okay, so here and here and also here. Okay, just to see on what basis this is sorted. Okay, now so the default sorting is what by salary, and I have customized sorting based on ID as well as name. So based on that I have prepared my employees details. So here if you print sorting based on salary, if you look at, so the ID is what 1, the next ID is what 6, the next ID is what 4. So this is not sorted by ID. So if you look at names, Venkat, Hari, B, Shankar, this is not even sorted by these names. So it is sorted by salary, then sorted based on the name, sorted based on the name. So here you can see 1 6 4 2 is not sorted based on ID. 10 11 15 20 21 30, it looks like okay. Why? Okay, maybe I think something wrong I did. What is that? So here it should be employee set, but here not employee set. This is the reference. I am using the same reference for all the cases. That is the reason. So here it should be what? I should iterate through employee ID set, which is iterated, which is sorted based on the ID. Okay, that is what the mistake I did. Okay, so now see and observe now. So name. So here Aditya, Bala, Hari, Shankar, and these are sorted by name or not? 30,000, 15,000, 3, 4, 6. These are not sorted by either salary or ID. And in the third one, if you look at sorted by ID, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Getting it? This is how we can write as many comparators as we want. Okay, and yesterday I have told you, right? So how we handle this in general requirements, if you see. Okay, so if you click on this date modifier, if you click on name, so as soon as you click on name as part of the name handler, okay, we trigger this one, we write this logic, we execute this logic. And when you click on say a date modifier, then there should be a date comparator, and say assume that this is a date comparator that is going to execute only that much code, execute, and it rearranges. You click on type, there will be a type comparator, and based on that logic it rearranges. That is where, so without disturbing any particular sorting, we can achieve sorting on multiple columns. We can achieve sorting on multiple columns. That is what most important in our real-time web applications development. Okay, customized sorting is more important. Customized sorting is more important. Is that clear? Customized sorting get the provision of defining as many number of comparators as we want on any number of columns to sort, whereas comparable is right, it's like that we write directly on our actual model class. So by implementing it comparable, and inside that we are going to write compare to method. So this is going to be fixed. If you want to change this default sorting, we need to change here. Okay, but we will be losing the earlier logic, right? So now I have salary based on the salary, but now I want to sort them by name. So if I write the logic here based on the name, okay, based on the name, then my salary sorting nature, I'm losing it, right? So that is what the problem of what. Okay, so that is the problem of what. So default sorting. So you can't customize with multiple column sorting. That is the biggest problem. Okay, so that is why we'll be going with what comparator, which is customized sorting. Hope you got enough idea about these comparable and comparators, comparing um, okay, and sorting the data. Okay, we have a set interface. Set interface is extended by sorted set, which is extended by navigable set, and the class tree set is implementing this navigable set. And the purpose of tree set is for sorting, so this helps for sorting. Okay, we have multiple constructors in tree set. Okay, constructor with the comparator, constructor with the collection, constructor with no parameters. Okay, if you look at the constructors, we have different constructors. This is with the default parameter, no parameters. Okay, if you look at, still you have constructors, tree set of navigable map it takes, collection it takes, comparator we have seen, another sorted set if you have already, yeah, you can pass that also. Okay, so navigable map of construct with the navigable map, yeah, I will explain that. Okay, and along with the navigable set, navigable map. But before that, let's understand about the hash maps. Okay, that's a separate family. Okay, mapping is a separate family. The root interface for maps is the map, so where we store the data using key value pairs, where we store the data using a key value pairs. So if you observe list implementations, set implementations, okay, these are going to store the elements as a single objects, like, right? So employee means like it's a one object. Salary, like if you are storing only salary or numbers like integers, all these are going to add as individual elements, right? So here 5, hello, true, all these are individual elements. But when you look at the map, we're going to store them as a key value pairs. We're going to store them as a key value pairs. We're going to store them as a key value pairs, right? So here I wanted to write main method, so you can take the map is equal new hash map. So hash map is a class. Hash map is a class where it accepts keys and values. Okay, so what you wanted to have your key, so I wanted to have a string as a key, and what you wanted to as a value, some integer, I wanted to add that as a some integer value. Okay, so here Java 8 you don't have to specify in the right hand side. So if you, okay, now you can add the elements here. We have a method put method here. In collections we have add method to add the elements, but in map we have a put method to store the elements. So here if you want to add, okay, Shankar, so value maybe score, so imagine that cricket scores, so got 100 put of, okay, so I'll give score of, okay, so 100, not 1. So I'm just giving the scores here. Okay, so now or tomorrow, like if someone asks like what is the score for Shankar, so I can refer my map and what is the value associated to it, 100, I can pick it up and I can tell them. Okay, so that's what the advantage of maps. Okay, that's what the advantage of maps, and we'll have a lot of stuff to discuss and understand with respect to maps. Okay, so that we'll see that tomorrow. Let's stop it here for today.